Hello everyone, and welcome to The Man Behind the Curtain. I'm Randy Young, the guy in the red shoes, and I've been in the video production business my entire career, and it's taken me around the world a few times. But more importantly, I've had the opportunity to work with some of the most creative people in television, and boy do they have stories to tell about the business and the people who make it happen. We've always been told, ignore the man behind the curtain, but you can talk to me. Okay, let's get started. I'm sitting with a very good friend of mine, a woman who I've known for a long time. We have a bit of a history working together. She's wonderful, she smiles a lot, and she's just, you're gonna meet her. Her name is Hope Halliburton. Hi, Hope.
Hi, Randy.
How are you?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm fine, but thank you for coming on and doing
this
show with me. I think it's great.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you the first question that I ask everybody, and that is, where did you get started? How did you get here?
Okay, so that's actually a little question, but a long answer. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do that in the short version. So I will say, literally when I was in high school, I'm going to go back to high school, a long time ago. When I was in high school, I saw Oprah Winfrey on TV. And I said, ooh, I'd like to work on her show one day. So I kind of manifested that. I said that out loud. And years and years and years later, I actually was able to work on her show. So that was my thought process. Now, I did go to school for mass communication. I went to Columbia College and finished there in '87. From there, I started working at WUSN radio station, which is a country western radio station. And guess what?
Tell me you were a country girl.
Oh, I wasn't, but I worked there for 2 years and I loved it. I had so much fun. So I worked in the traffic department there. That was my first buzz of the industry.
Business, yeah.
And then from there, I went over to WGN because I got an inkling that they needed somebody over in their traffic department because I worked in traffic department at the radio station. So in traffic is scheduling commercials.
Sure.
Okay, so I went to WGN and I worked there for maybe a couple years before I started getting the buzz of I wanted to do production. So then I went over and talked to the production person there, and they got me over to do the Bozo Show, which was one of my favorite shows. So I was a PA on Bozo.
Okay.
And then from there I started AD. I started actually stage managing, and then they needed a director. So then they tapped me to learn how to direct and all that. And so
Did you direct the Bozo Show?
I did not direct the Bozo Show.
Okay.
I was a PA on the Bozo Show.
All right.
So from there, they had a lot of different little shows there. So they had the lottery show. They had People to People or Charlando. So it was little talk shows that they had there. So I was able to actually start stage managing those. And then from there, they needed another person to AD. So I started to learn how to AD from a really nice lady. She was out at California. She came there and she started teaching us all about ADs because we didn't have ADs there at that point. And then from there, I started directing on the weekend mornings. So that's my stint from college to WGN rather. So that took me into the 90s.
Okay.
Which within the 90s we had basketball, so I was at the basketball games for the Bulls. So their championship games, when they won at home, I was always there, which was so much fun.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, there was a couple more shows that I did. Actually, there was a lot of shows that WGN produced that I worked on. Besides basketball, there was baseball, of course, the Cubs. I would sit in the room and do some of that, do some of those, which is it's so much. I don't even know if I could really go into all that because it was a lot. And we're talking the 90s, so that was a great era of television, the way television used to be done.
Yeah, it used to be done. And now?
So from WGN, I matriculated over to NBC.
Okay.
So they needed an AD/director, and so they tapped me, and then I went over there, and I was at NBC Chicago for 19 years. And then from there, I started working at WLS ABC Chicago, and I've been there since I think it's been 13 years there. And I started off working on one of the shows, which was Windy City Live. at the time. It's Windy City Weekend now, but it was Windy City Live. So I started on stage manage that, and then they needed a director for their news. So then they asked me about that. So then I started directing automation. So I was directing automation at NBC for a little stint, but then I went over to ABC and I started directing their automated shows, their newscasts, and then I also do WTTW, which is PBS Chicago. So I AD those shows and sometimes fill in direct those shows. It's a Chicago Tonight show, pretty much a talk show, magazine type talk show. So yeah, those are things.
All right, let me ask you, you came up late 80s, 90s, and was it tough as a woman to get recognized as a director or get recognized in the industry? Not to mention that you're a black woman, not to mention that you're talented, which you are, and you showed that. But was it tough? Was it challenging?
Oh, absolutely. So I always like to say that besides the fact that God really just placed me in different people's lives, like yours, and once they see that I know what I'm doing, they pretty much start talking to me about doing other shows and everything else. So yes, it was extremely hard to really kind of break into the business. And a lot of people said at the time, once I graduated from Columbia, that, oh, you're going to have to leave Chicago to start off somewhere. But I was very fortunate and blessed to not have to do that, and I worked my way up though
through Chicago.
But I never had to really leave Chicago. But I did work my way from, we'd say, like I worked in the traffic department scheduling commercials all the way up to being a director.
But there weren't a lot of female directors in those days.
There weren't.
I mean, it was really considered a male world.
Yes, it was. But by the grace of God, I somehow got in that. And I was able to kind of talk my way with certain things. And I will say, I have to kind of say a lot of it was just my ability to learn quickly. And there was always a spot for me. And I was in the right place at the right time, and I met the right people at the right time.
That's what this business is, right place, right time, right people.
Absolutely.
And mix that into talent. And abilities and desires.
Yes.
You know, and you show all that. I don't care if you've got, 8 arms and 3 eyes. You're going to go places. You're going to do things.
Yes.
But you try to overcome them. You try to do your best and hope that people recognize that. And I think in you, it was obvious.
Well, and another thing too is I never really thought, I pretty much blocked the fact that I was a female. I was a black female. I pretty much blocked that out and just went for it.
Okay.
I did get turned down many times, but I kept going. And that's the thing. It's like no matter who says no, there's always somebody that's going to say yes.
You're going to find them.
You're going to find that yes, but you have to keep going. You can't just let the one no just take you out. So I say that, for instance, with the Oprah Winfrey Show. I filled out applications for this job, that job at the Oprah Winfrey place. And I got letters of, no, sorry, not the right person, not this time. Well, when I eventually did work for Oprah Winfrey, it was her life classes, and they called me. I did not call them.
Good.
So what happened was just people knowing me in the business, and then when they asked, how about this person? Do we have somebody? Do you know anybody? And then it started happening like that for me for different things. So I did manifest the Oprah Winfrey, and it happened for me.
Well, hubba, good for you.
Yeah,
That's the way it happens.
I mean,
All right, you mentioned automation. And when I started directing, it was all eyeballs and hands. And there was no automation. There were no computers that did these things that you could pre-program and all. Were you involved in that, or was it always automation with news with you?
No, actually, as they call it, I did the traditional control room, where you had people, you had a camera person, you had an audio person, you had a graphic artist, you had all of that. You had an AD, you had a TD, you had that. Whereas, had I really known what this would have turned into, I might have wanted to go into film instead. I picked television because it's quick, as opposed to film. Film is just a little, and it's good, but sometimes it's just a little, let's hurry up and wait. Whereas TV, when you get red lights, you make it happen.
Right.
No matter what.
Or you get fired.
You make it happen. So that was my one thing with television. So had I known that it would go this far into automation, into a one-person control room, I probably would have went the film route.
Which is what you face now, is a one-person control room.
One-person control room. So
it's got to be. Well, that becomes a technical challenge, not a directing challenge, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So the one thing with that is we always have a maintenance person.
All right.
Who's pretty savvy with the computers. But we have to also be pretty much savvy with the computer too, and at least know some of the ins and outs of how to program. So say in the morning when I go in, I get a rundown on the computer from my producer. So at that point, I start programming shots in there from what they have on there. And so I'll program that, and then I'll go to, it's called ROS. It's a whole switcher within a computer.
Right.
So at that point, then I'll load it up into the ROS, and then I'll work it from there.
And all those shots are pre-programmed in the library, and
yes, they are pre-programmed, but you have to adjust things. So you have an anchor, and they're talking, and then they move. So you still have to adjust the cameras at that
the joystick
point.
Or whatever.
With the yes, so you adjust.
But theoretically, they put themselves at the belly button hole right here.
You would hope. You would hope.
And it'll fit, right?
You would hope, but most of the time it's not.
No.
Most of the time it's not.
When you run into challenges, something goes wrong, you may have a minute, maybe 2 minutes if you're in a commercial break, to fix it, get it going right. Well,
so it's funny you asked that, but there are outs, okay? So say I'm in a commercial break, and everything breaks down, or I don't have the next shot.
The automated camera doesn't move where you want it to go.
Oh, had that many times, right? So what you do is and my thought is always, and I've always thought this, how do I get out of a jam if something happens? And especially in this automated world, because it's just me, really. And I have to get myself out of those jams. So I'm always thinking, if this happens, what do I do? So most of the time when things happen, I've already thought through what I'm gonna do. Okay, say the camera breaks. So say we have 3 cameras, which we do, 3 cameras, and one of them goes down, and it's the male anchor's camera that goes down. So guess what? I know in my mind what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that other camera that I usually use for a 2-shot, and I'm gonna switch it over here. And then I'm gonna take this camera and I'm gonna do a 2-shot. So it's like trying to direct yourself out of trouble is what
we've all done that many times.
Exactly, or like say whether her computer goes down and we don't have the graphics for her. Well, guess what? I'll sit on her and she talks it through until that comes back. Or we'll go from her and say, oh, well, let's go back to the desk. And then they'll do what they have to do. And if it's such a big thing, I'd say we need to go to a break.
Are the talent pretty adept at covering you and covering the situation?
They are. Yeah. We have pretty good talent where they understand. They know, most of them know what we're going through up there mostly. And so when something does break, they're usually really good when you just get in their ear and say, toss to a break or do this, and they'll just do it. And so so it's not as difficult as some may think, as far as automation. The easiest thing is if you don't really understand automation, but you just go and you program it and you just hit the space bar. That's what people think that.
Yeah, space bar directly.
Hit the space bar. Hit the space bar, right?
Next.
Next. That's in a perfect world. But there's always kinks. There's always something that could go wrong in that perfect world.
Sure.
So I've not ever had a show where just the space bar works. Not ever. I'm looking for one of those.
Not ever.
Not ever. I've always had to try to get myself out of something, Or literally, like I say, if the talent is moving around, if the camera comes back and it's not targeted or it didn't go back to the right shot, you know, what do I do? So then I have to sit here, reframe that, and I'm also looking at the prompter, which I load, matter of fact, and I talk to the prompter. So I'm always looking at where it is on the prompter, and God forbid that goes down, because then I have to go back to my rundown while I'm still on the air and look at whatever they're reading. So it's a lot of
all right, so
there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on,
There's
and
a
I get
lot.
it. And you're all alone, and that's a huge weight. You know.
Now I do have a backup director, but that backup director is getting ready for their show, so they're working.
Oh, there's somebody down the hall.
No, they're literally behind me normally,
okay.
and they're on the computer doing, you know, work programming the next show.
The next hour show.
Next hour show.
Okay.
But that's
all right. So then, so you're in there, and you're working alone. You're solving the problems. You're getting the show on the air, and then I drag you into this crazy world.
Oh, love this world. Love this world.
Compare and contrast.
Okay, so my thought with this world is, and I don't know if I should really say it, almost like a vacation. I don't know if that's good to say, but it's such a different world, and everything is pretty much like, it's more creative. It's a more creative thing. Whereas in the news, we 3 cameras, you do what those 3 cameras do.
Right.
Whereas in a space like this, you get the script. You figure out what you want it to look like, although the producers are there to tell you their vision too, but then you help out. So you're there helping them out to let them see something they probably wouldn't have thought of. And I think a lot of times the director's job is to make that show into just something so spectacular that, like, I didn't even know that angle existed. I didn't know that shot looks like that. You know, so it's almost like widen out TV so people can see that view and see things that are happening there that other people would have never thought about doing or see. Right?
Yeah. Yes. But I think it's also thinking a little more multidimensionally, because we've got an audience online or an audience on video watching it later or watching it live. We also have several thousand people on the other side of this curtain that I speak so fondly of.
That's true.
That you have to think differently. What do they want to see?
Absolutely.
And you have to do that at the same time.
Absolutely. So you're in their minds, but you're also still bringing your creativity to it.
Sure.
Right? Because no one knows your creativity more than you know your creativity. So when they bring you in, they're like, oh, I'm going to bring that person in because, you know, they kind of can see another world or see some things that I can't see. So a lot of times, even with a lot of the clients that we have, they're very open to your suggestions. Like, I think this would look good. But then they'll say, well, no, we really want this shot. And it's like, okay, well, we can make that happen too.
Sure. Yeah.
But you still try to sell them on things, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of times it works because they're like, oh, I didn't see it from that angle. I didn't see it that way. And so a lot of times, I think it's the creativity that I really enjoy with this, as opposed to news. I like news. It's been my bread and butter.
Yeah, but it's pretty cut and dry, straightforward.
It's straightforward, exactly.
Yeah.
And the only time, like a lot of times when I'm doing a news segment, if I have an interview, I'm like, oh yeah, I got an interview. I'm gonna cut this thing, right? And then I might have 2 robotic cameras and then a handheld camera. And then I'll just kind of cut in between. I'll block it and cut in between that and get some little reaction shots and everything like that. That's probably my most fun when I'm doing TV. I'm sorry, I did my mic. That's probably, and I should know better.
Little things.
That's probably the most that I really enjoy, is just bringing something to life and making it look like I feel it and I can see it. Like, I really enjoy doing music.
Sure.
I really enjoy when I have to cut a concert. Because now I'm hearing things, since I'm pretty musical. My husband always says to me, I can't believe you can remember every lyric of a song, but you can't remember the person you sat next to in 9th grade. I'm like, ooh. But you give me a song, I know the lyrics.
You know the lyrics,
I know them all. And I know the instruments and what's playing, and I can hear all of that. So I really enjoy cutting music because I know when what's going to happen, and I just feel it.
You
And I
get in
want
the rhythm,
everybody
you get in the beat, you
Yeah,
know what's
you-
coming up.
Yes.
You know, there's drums here, there's horns here, there's vocals going to happen on, in 4 counts.
Uh-huh.
You know.
So I think that's probably one thing I really, really enjoy is when I have to cut concerts.
Okay. All right. You've been in this business for a long time.
Yeah.
I know that you've taught production.
Yes.
And talk to me about that. Would you look some 20-year-old, 18-year-old college girl who says, I want to go into broadcasting, what are you going to tell her?
Oh, I get it all the time.
Yeah.
I get it all the time. So I did teach at one point. I taught at one of the colleges in Chicago.
Right.
And that was the most fulfilling thing for me. As a matter of fact, I did turn out a couple of students that are in the business now. But what I really felt about that is I'm giving back, and a lot of times giving back to what never really came to me. So when I was in school, I didn't have mentors at that point that was within the business, especially female mentors.
Really tough.
Didn't have that. But the one thing that I did have was a lot of great guys who would help me, and they leaned into me to teach me some things. And I will say that's, and you are one of them, honestly, that really literally leaned in to help me. And if I have questions or about whatever, and I've been doing this like forever, but you're still always having questions that I can always call and say, hey, what's this, or what do you think about
Nobody
this?
knows everything.
No one knows everything.
And everybody can contribute that things that you just come out of nowhere.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. And that's what I feel like with my students, with the kids that I talk to, young adults I talk to. I'm always like, make sure you make it yours. Because when you make it yours, no one can take it from you.
That's right. Good for you.
So, and most of them, they've come out to do their own work, their own projects, which, I'm so proud of them.
What do you suppose is the future? I don't see a lot of young people coming up. Do I miss them? Do I not see them? Are they coming up in the business?
I think what the young people nowadays are more into is like the podcast. And they're more into, in which they really should be, into doing their own thing. They're into influencing.
Right.
That's the big thing now. I wish I would have known that growing up. I could have made a lot of money trying to influence people. Who knew? Who knew that would be an occupation, right?
Exactly.
But so I think with them, I don't think that I think they're more on, I'm going to make my own thing, as
Right.
opposed to really, like what we did was work for people.
You're right.
And I think
Until
that
we
they're
got smart
more,
enough not to.
Right. But I think they're more on the independent side, as opposed to, okay, well, I got to get a job with this person. I got to get a job with that. I think that with young people, like, it's not going to be what we were when we started in this business. It's never going to be that.
It's not going to be that again.
Ever again. That was great. It was great times for that.
Yeah.
So much fun. So much creativity during that time. Whereas now it's like you got to create your own.
What do you do to create your own?
What am I doing? Well, you didn't tell me you were going to ask that question.
I throw
That's a pretty good one, yeah.
Square one in now
Yeah,
and then.
you did. To make my own, I do a lot of, right now I've started doing some editing.
Right.
So I absolutely love editing. I love learning different techniques with editing. So I do a lot of that, and I do a lot of freebies for people with that. And then I do get paid for sometimes doing it too. So I do enjoy that. I enjoy just being creative. I enjoy putting a story together and visually letting people see that story. So that's the thing that I'm really into. I'm on the end of my career, I would almost want to say, like, I got more years behind me than in front of me.
Yeah, but
so
the years behind you built you up to where you are now. There's a lot of time left.
Yeah.
Do a lot of things between now and whenever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I like to do like more music. I like this corporate. I like the corporate. The people are great, and they know exactly kind of what they want, and they give you the freedom to kind of be who you are and show them what you can do. So I do enjoy that. I've done stuff, like I said, with the Oprah Winfrey. I've done that. I've done some Tyler Perry, which was great. Great guy. Went down there and did some work for him.
In Atlanta?
In Atlanta, yes. Very nice studios too.
I've not been there, but I've heard.
It's really nice. He was a great guy. It was really great working down there with them. I've done other projects. I've done some music. I've done some plays. I actually did one of the Tyler Perry plays, Marriage Counselor, which we did in Ohio. So I was the AD on that show, which you can see me on there. You can see my name on there. You might see my picture at the end of that. Oh my God, I've done so much. I used to do the Stellar Awards. I used to.
So you are doing your things. You're creating. You're out there making things happen.
I am.
Good. Well, I know I love having you on the shows with me because you bring that sparkle and you look at me like, you really want to do that, Randy?
I know. I'm like,
you question
what am I
me, and that makes me want to work harder and do better. You know, so there's a lot to go, and I've seen some of your work. You're in a production film now, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Oh, I actually thought when they came to interview me at the station that this was a school project.
Okay.
Because it was one of my coworkers at the school, and he decided, I want to do this documentary on people behind the scenes. So I thought, well, that's a great idea. And you can show it to the students, because I spoke at his class once.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, great. So I'm literally thinking that's what that is. But not needless to say, a few years later, I think it is, he had gotten some other people to do some parts in it, and he literally came out with this film called The Production Crew.
Okay.
Which he's shopped it off at some of the film fests, and I believe he won an award. I'm not quite sure, but then we have another. He's doing viewings and showings and everything else with that, which
you're going to invite me to, right?
The 28th of this month.
Okay.
That's when we get back, though. And then he's going to have more, though, I'm sure. But yeah, so then he wants me to do this panel. And I'm like, even when you asked me to do this, I'm like, what am I going to say? So I guess I'll be able to have that gift of gab when people ask me a question now.
I don't think you miss words at all.
Oh my!
You're a good talker.
Okay, I didn't think I would be, because I'm so behind the scenes. But I guess you just make it easy to talk to. But the questions.
But the fact that you've made the effort to be part of this project of his, he had to love it. He had to enjoy and respect what you do to invite you into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was pretty emotional when I saw it, and I'm like, that's me. I keep hitting my mic. I'm so sorry. I'm like, that's me on screen. And it was just like, I can give my thoughts and what I've done to someone else and let them see. Yeah, you can make it too, and you can do it too.
Well, I talked to, when I asked you the question about mentoring young women, what would you say to them? This is a perfect example of it, and you're manifesting that through this film. And the goal is that other people are going to see this, young people are going to see this, and follow your example.
So my thought with that is, and I would share with them, if you really want this, you can have it. But you have to really want it, and you can't take no as an answer. And when one door closes, guess what? That's because there's another one there waiting to be open. And so I would say, if I did it and I could do it, you can too, if you really want it.
You got to bring your A game to everything you do.
Every time. There is no time you can bring a B, C, D, or E game. No time. You always have to. And you always have to be on top. You always have to think that. So my thoughts too is, no matter how I might feel pressure, no one needs to know that. I will not share that with anyone.
No,
I will go in and do what I do.
Right.
But you will not know that right now I'm feeling a little pressure. You won't know it, because I'm not going to let you see it.
Yeah.
And that's just something that I've always had in my brain, like, I have to go in, bring my A game, and just keep it moving. And if something happens that's wrong, keep going. Keep going. You know, there's always going to be some little kinks or some little mistakes or this and that. but you keep moving. It's how you get yourself out and how you perform within those mistakes.
That's the way we've been trained to think, though.
Absolutely.
Because we have a goal, we have a time, we have a place to be. And I've said for years, you don't want to see the movie that's playing in my head.
That
But
part.
give me a goal to get to, give me the tools to get there,
Yes.
and I'll get you to the end of the line.
Yes, yes. And that's it. That's
but
perfect.
That line may only be in my eyeballs, in our minds. But you never blow your cool.
But you never let them see you sweat. You just keep it moving. Like you would never know that right now I'm nervous. You would not never know
I'll
that.
never know.
Because I'm not doing this. No.
Well, you know what? It's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you
It's
so
always been a
much.
pleasure working with you.
Oh, same.
And I'm so happy that you finally said yes to sit down with me.
I had some reservations
You
about
did.
it. I was thinking, what am I going to say?
You said good things. Thanks, darling.
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.